All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. And in this video, we are going to talk about now that the Terrence Crawford fight with Errol Spence Jr. is done, or as in not going to happen. Jaron Ennis has said that he has petitioned to get the mandatory activated against Errol Spence. Also, some other news related to other potential Errol Spence Jr. fights. Let's do that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. And in this video, we are going to talk about the 147-pound division and what could be taking place now that Errol Spence Jr. and Terrence Crawford are not going to fight in the foreseeable future. But before I get into that, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are a longtime subscriber, supporter of the channel, thank you so much for your continued support. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit that subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. So let's get into this. So obviously, big bout that everybody wanted to see is not going to take place, and that is the Errol Spence Jr. versus Terrence Crawford fight. Just last week, Terrence Crawford pulled out of the negotiations after he accepted another match against David Avancian to defend his WBO welterweight title. He'll be doing that on Black Prime Television on December 10th in a bout that will take place in Omaha, Nebraska. Even though, there's a lot of stuff out there about that bout and whether or not that bout is fully developed and ready to go. But regardless, the Errol Spence Jr. bout, not going to happen. So the question then obviously moves on that we move on to is what's going to happen with Errol Spence Jr. Who and when is he going to fight? Now, he has two mandatories. One is a guy by the name of Stanionis, and I'm killing his name, and Jaron Ennis. They are both mandatories for the following reasons. Jaron Ennis won a bout against Custio Clayton, and it was a title eliminator. And in that bout, the IBF said the winner of that is going to be the next person to be named mandatory for Errol Spence Jr. So when Errol Spence Jr. Mandatory comes up, it will be, or the IBF mandatory, the next person to be ordered to fight the champion as the IBF mandatory is going to be Jaron Ennis. Now, Stanionis, he is also a mandatory for Errol Spence Jr., but for a different reason. He is a mandatory for Errol because of the fact that he had been ordered to fight Yordenis Ugas before Errol beat Yordenis Ugas for the WBA super title. Instead of fighting Ugas, Stanionis fought Butiev and won the WBA regular title. So he is still the mandatory because he was the mandatory or it was ordered for him to fight Yordenis Ugas. That order is still in place for Errol Spence Jr. Now, that order for Stanionis took place before Jaron Ennis beat Custio Clayton to become Errol Spence Jr.'s mandatory. So as far as the priority in time, Stanionis takes precedence over Jaron Ennis. However, in a recent interview, Bozy Ennis said, and this is the father and the trainer for, and I believe he might also be the manager for Jaron Ennis, said that they have submitted their petition to the IBF to order the fight between Errol Spence Jr. and Jaron Ennis. Now, for many boxing fans, that is the bout that is the most intriguing between the two. Not saying that Amanda Stanionis is not a very, very good fighter, because he is. He's a tough, he's a strong fighter. He beat Butiev, who is a good fighter. Not saying that he's not, right? But Jaron Ennis is the type of guy that a lot of people think is a very, very special fighter, myself included, and that he is kind of the future of the 147-pound division when Errol Spence Jr. and Terrence Crawford and Keith Thurman and all these guys go, move up to the next weight class. Now, what Boziena said, talked about how, and I said this in a previous video, that how unfortunate it was that Terrence Crawford decided to pass up a whole lot of other people who are in that top four, welterweights, for his championship, to go all the way to the bottom of the barrel to fight this guy, Avancian. Man, I'm glad I got the D out of that pronunciation because it's Avancian. I don't know why I always put a D in there, but whatever. So he was kind of going off on that, saying, look, man, Keith Thurman, there's all kind of other bouts that could take place. Yet of the other top four guys are Keith Thurman, obviously Jaron Ennis, Virgil Ortiz. I forget who else, the other person he might have said. He may have even said Ugas, right? But those are the other type of guys that are, really at the top of the division. You may have said Stanionis. Stanionis probably deserves to be up there, in some way as well. And how unfortunate it is that bout didn't take place. Now, Errol, I think, is going to wind up being in a scenario where if he stays at welterweight, the most likely fight for him is going to be a man of Stanionis. However, despite any reports to the contrary, that fight is not going to take place this year. That's because Steven Espinoza has already said that all of the venues for the remainder of this year are already gone. And that's why they had to push the Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford bout out to February of next year because, right, and the length of that negotiation pretty much stuck everybody on venues. The length of that negotiation just meant all of those venues dates just kept getting taken up. So we're not going to know the answer to who exactly he's going to fight, or for a little while, because number one, Errol said that that this has been very, very tough for him to make 147 pounds. So he very well may go ahead and move up to 154 pounds. And leave the whole thing alone, right? Because now, more than likely, man, it's the prospect of getting that Terrence Crawford bout done. I don't see it, man. Now, again, I understand why. If you believe that Terrence Crawford is getting $10 million for this fight, and he already got $10 million for this fight from somebody, man, man, that sounds like fantasy land to me. But, if he did do it, and whatever the scenario was, he took this other fight, Errol Spence Jr. is not going to be in a position, I don't think, of just trusting that he is going to take the fight, that he is going to take the fight, in May, right? Errol needs to get another fight, before that. And December, the earliest they're going to be able to fight sometime around May or June, which means Errol would have been sitting out a year and 3 months. More than likely not going to do that. As far as the Jaron Ennis fight happening next, a lot of people would really like to see that. I would be very, very surprised if that's what happened. I think Errol would move up in weight and start trying to position himself for more belts at 154 before he continues to squeeze himself down to 147 for a guy like Boots. And on top of that, the Stanionis fight, takes precedence and comes before that. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.